Is this trend of African growth going to continue? Is it solid?
Si la croissance ne crée pas d'emplois, à quoi sert-elle?
Qu'il faut un vrai dialogue franc.
It is high time we had a conversation about Africa as a whole being one trading bloc.
Africa is going through growth, and we need to find ways to make sure that we translate that growth into business development, and from business development into job creation.
The necessity of looking at the informal economy as an integral part of the sectoral strategies, not as a side issue that has to be dealt with social policy.
So over the last decade, Africa is second place in the Regional Growth League, and there does seem to be reason to believe that this growth can be sustained and indeed can be improved upon it.
We've been asked the question of African growth for now the past 5 or 6 years. Multinationals, multilaterals, but also African governments, first and foremost, asking us about, is this trend of African growth going to continue? Is it solid? Is it anchored in fundamentals, or is it something that is just going to be, let's say, it's going to go away with the end of the commodity boom? The answer that we had to this is the fundamentals behind this are much more solid, but the way it's going to play out on the continent is actually going to be very, very different. And I think it has deep implications in terms of the sort of policies you may be looking at, the sort of sector choices that different countries will have to make. Africa will need hard currency to build itself, to build its capital stock, to build its infrastructure. For us, in our analysis, this is, over the next 15 years, going to be the hard constraint on growth. And whatever we do in terms of policies, if we don't sort out the FDI issue, if we don't sort out the trade imbalance issue, the structural trade imbalance issue, the export potential, we're simply not going to have anything sustainable anytime soon. If we don't also take into account that the global competitive chessboard is just not what it was 20 years ago in Asia when the same sort of policies were taken. This is a much rougher game out there, much, much rougher. And that means that strategic choices about sectors will have to be much more informed than what we may have seen elsewhere. So we're on a good track, but we'll have to take into account that we have to deal with institutional deficits, fragmentation deficits, and the fact also that the competition is much stronger. There's been this endless debate in multilateral institutions, also within governments, about, should we just focus on the enablers, stability, infrastructure, education, vocational training, and let's say doing business, and versus sector picking. I think we all come to the conclusion that smart sector picking, if done well, if it's done not in an exclusive and dogmatic manner, can actually bring a whole lot. So you can solve the very specific equation, that you bring the political energy against it, that you actually can measure yourself against very hard results, very clear KPIs. I think we need to have both, and very often people tend to oppose the two. We would make the clear point that you don't need to oppose them, that one reinforces the other. Agriculture is absolutely fundamental as a growth engine, as a revenue-enhancing engine in rural areas. Obviously, retail distribution will play an absolutely structural role, and those are often agriculture was long neglected, but even retail today is still neglected. The sort of impact you can have in those sectors is absolutely fundamental. And I think if we want to have impact in 10 years, this is the game. We need to act very, very fast and very decisively over the next few years to really be in a position to capture both the opportunities, but also manage those massive expectations from notably the youth and the urban youth in particular. Within the continent. The numbers are absolutely staggering. This is a real tsunami in front of us. We can ride that wave. We can also be completely swamped by it.
La RDC a aujourd'hui 65% de sa population active qui sont des femmes et des jeunes. Et ceux-là vont poser le gros problème de l'avenir. C'est pour ça que je vais, moi, insister sur l'emploi des jeunes et une croissance qui entraîne l'emploi des jeunes et des femmes, parce que les femmes chez nous, et c'est important, dans toutes les périodes de crise et de guerre qu'on a eues en RDC, c'est les petites entreprises féminines qui ont maintenu la stabilité sociale à l'intérieur du pays. Donc c'est important qu'on les accompagne pour croître. Qu'il faut un vrai dialogue franc pour la notion même de création de richesse. Et je pense qu'un des points essentiels dans ce dialogue franc entre l'État et le monde des affaires concerne la politique de l'éducation de la jeunesse. Il faut vraiment veiller à ce que l'adéquation des programmes de formation de jeunes corresponde avec les besoins de l'économie. Il faut que les systèmes d'orientation et de formation scolaire facilitent l'entrée des jeunes sur le marché du travail. Et puis, il faut favoriser réellement une orientation à l'entrepreneuriat.
With this young, emerging, and educated population, there is no reason why Africa cannot be the source of the next Google or even Facebook, two institutions whose capitalization is bigger than the GDP of many African countries. The next big thing in the world, in my view, will not be driven by the availability of capital, which oftentimes is cited as a reason why Africa sometimes lags behind. But I think the next big thing will be driven by our ability to use our brains, the intellect, and create many Facebooks and many Googles. And Africa in this regard is at absolutely no disadvantage at all. And I'm persuaded that we can harness the potential that the youth offers in Africa. It is possible to bring the cost of food down only if we could buy the food that is rotting next door in our neighboring country. To do this, intra-African infrastructure and connectivity has to happen urgently. The market leader in coffee in Kenya is still Nescafe, which is probably not manufactured very many kilometers from here. I think it is high time that we started processing our own products, and that alone is a huge stimulus for employment and is a huge stimulus for growth, because we are growing that coffee, we are growing that tea, and of course the minerals that we get. That is not rocket science, and I think we just need to focus and rededicate ourselves to doing those basic things well.
Si le Maghreb a connu son printemps arabe, c'est d'abord parce qu'il y avait une demande sociale et de dignité. Et on a apporté une réponse politique qui n'a rien réglé à aujourd'hui. Et je crois qu'à l'heure où nous nous parlons, il est important de se mettre en tête qu'il faut qu'on arrête justement de parler et qu'on puisse passer véritablement aux actes pour redonner du sens et de la confiance à un continent qui est très jeune. Au même titre que le G20 l'a fait à travers le B20 en créant une task force sur la question de l'emploi, je pense qu'au niveau africain, nous pourrions nous initier une démarche qui serait de créer une task force dédiée à cette question-là et dans l'urgence, faire travailler les personnes qu'il faut pour pouvoir sortir un vrai plan Marshall autour de ces questions d'emploi.
I think this report really does us a service in the ILO. It helps us to scratch beneath the surface and look at what the real policies are that can work and will work.